Hey guys, welcome back to Gakkou Gurashi, episode 5, the review. And for this episode, we had a lighthearted mood, a little bit of fan service, some realizations, and potential foreshadowing, and even a little bit of, tragic moments. By a little bit, I mean 40%. Yeah. So, before I get into this review, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more reviews, reactions, vlogs, and follow the links in the description, because they'll take you to the anime episode. Go watch that before you watch this review, and go follow me on Twitter, because I'll post announcements I'll talk about if I drop something or etc. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about this, talking about that, talking about this. Yeah! So, time to get into the review. Gakkou Gurashi episode 5. This was a nice episode. It concludes the Mikumi, I believe that's her name, stuck in the mall mini-arc kind of thing. And it does not conclude the whole meeting Mikumi, or Mikun, little arc, develop arc and all that, as I'm going to call it. It does not conclude that, but it has them actually get her out of the mall. And they're taking her with them to the school. And before I want to say anything else, I gotta give props to this anime, because a lot of animes would be monopolizing on the fan service, or be have more fan service be abundant in there. But this one, we only had a small bit of fan service towards the end of last episode, and then some fan service in the beginning of this episode with Mikun running around in her panties and a shirt and all that, but it wasn't anything too bad. And then we had the girls try on swimsuits, and I like Rii-san and hers. Goddamn, she has some wonderful assets. I'm talking about some wonderful assets, like holy shit. And yeah, that was all we saw of the fan service, and it's probably not going to make too much of an appearance in this darker, really bloody kind of anime and all that. And I'm not complaining. I like fan service, I can tolerate it, but I also like when it focuses more on the story and less on the plot, the double plot, just the overall plot. So yeah, we had some nice fan service and everything, because I did like it. Then after that, we had some tragic moments, like we had Mikun, I'll just call her Mikun. She was looking at photos of her and Kei when they were I'm assuming before the zombie apocalypse, and they were super happy. And this was after Kei had left her, and it's actually pretty sad, because most likely Kei has been zombified. She probably died a horrible, gruesome way, or she could have just straight up died, or maybe she actually made it to other survivors and they could have died, or, as I'm going to talk about in the next point, she maybe was trapped in the Death Theater. Alright. So that was sad. And then the Death Theater. The Death Theater is where Kurumi, all the girls made it into the mall and everything, and they're wandering around, and the zombies really don't handle stairs well, according to them, so they were up on higher floors, and there's barely any zombies, as they noticed. And they go to the movie theater, and Kurumi goes to check out the actual theater room, and it's barricaded shut. And when she opens it, it's a sea of zombies. In other words, it's a death theater. From kids to adults and teenagers and all that. Death everywhere. Just dozens and dozens of zombies, and it makes you go, holy shit. So here's what could have happened. As it was said by Kurumi, it was kids and all that, and they could have been survivors. They could have retreated in there and survived, and maybe one or two of them been bitten. But the door was barricaded from the outside, so they couldn't have gotten out unless they used a lot of brute force. And the way it stands, we don't know if it was barricaded before or after most of them turned, because if it was mostly survivors and then one or two had been bitten, why would they barricade themselves in with the bitten? So most likely, someone turned traitor and barricaded them in, or they were forced to barricade in the zombies, and the zombies never bothered breaking it down until Kurumi had unlocked the door. So that was a thing, and maybe, I'm theorizing, maybe Kei was forced into the theater, and she ran into survivors, and they ran to the theater, and maybe she's in there, maybe not. We'll never know. And now onto a little bit of another theory, or more confirmation on a theory, that Megu-nee is dead, possibly during this timeline, this present event in the timeline. Because when they're going up the stairs, you only see 3 shadows on the wall, unless Megu-nee was taking the head and she had already been up before then. Because she's on top of she's already on the floor, but you don't see her walking up the stairs. So that could be a possible confirmation that she's already dead during these events. Which is sad, because I like Megu-nee. It really is. And then we had confirmation that Taromaru is real and not a figment of Yuki's imagination. How? Because Kurumi encounters him first and actually interacts with him, and then they bring it back to... He follows Kurumi back from the supermarket while she was gathering supplies and all that, to where they were in a CD store, and Yuki instantly hits it off with Taromaru and all that, but they had to check for Taromaru if he had been bitten, and apparently, if I take that into context and all that, there's zombie animals. That'd be frightening. So yeah, Taromaru and Yuki hit it off, and then it proves that Taromaru actually cares about Mikun, or cared a lot, because pretty much once they got onto the floor that Mikun was holed up on in that room, he started barking towards the hallway, and that got Mikun's attention, but she thought it was a figment of her imagination, and they had to quiet Taromaru down. And then when Mikun made the decision to actually go out and see, because she heard people running and heard voices, she went out and saw, and then she got trapped on the escalator and jumped down on the piano. Taromaru ran back into the mall after everyone else had left, and went back for Mikun, and Yuki did too, and Kurumi and Rii-san and all that, and so it proves that Taromaru cares about her, which is important because maybe something happens in the future that makes him a lot more disinterested in her, who knows. But I'm thinking he's mostly playing around with Mikun all the time instead of actually hating her, because he'd be more growling, biting, and all that. It's just more like he's disinterested or bored or just joking around with her, which is really nice. So that confirms that Taromaru is alive, but we don't know if he's alive during the present time. So it could be Megu-nee and Taromaru a figment of Yuki's imagination, since she's in a delusional state. And the things that could break, that also probably added up onto that, is Megu-nee's death, and possibly Taromaru's death, because she's really into Taromaru. She likes him a lot and all that. And as it stands, there's already cracks appearing in her delusional facade, because at first when they were leaving in the theater, the death theater, there was a zombie that came out, and she saw the zombie, and it gave her a brief flashback to her class. And you see the 3 girls that we saw talking to her in the first episode that were her classmates, the one with the collar and all that. You see them, and then you see them human, and then an instant zombified form of them, and then it pans out and the whole class is a zombie. So that's already a small crack appearing in her delusional facade. Then later on, when Taromaru ran back into the mall, we had more cracks appear, because she sees like dozens and dozens of zombies crowding around the piano trying to grab Mikumi, and she actually sees them as zombies, or monsters as they put it, and as they actually appear and all that, because they had the big white glowing eyes and the purplish dark aura and that So she doesn't see them as people. She sees them as the monsters they are. So that's adding cracks onto it, and it's already affecting her. If the cracks keep up with this, and as the series is going, there's going to possibly be another major event that snaps her out of this delusional facade, accept reality, become the depressed Yuki, the one we don't know, and not be the happy. And then she'll be forced to acknowledge that this is happening, that people have died, and it will cause a lot of feels. That's how the series is going to go, but as in my opinion, because this is a series that's going to be about feels, blood, and death, and eventually snapping her out of her delusions, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. And how they escape them all when Mikun and all that, Rii-san pulled the emergency alarm that they got in the CD store, and it caused a huge sound and all that. It's like a big ringing alarm, and the zombies were all like, they all started going off in directions because it's bouncing off the walls, and it's louder than what it's louder and it interests them more than Mikun. So Yuki goes towards them and they all start running out and they get out of the mall and they head home. And the interesting thing is, I want to say during the beginning and towards the end, I'm assuming, zombies aren't very apparent outside as they put it towards the beginning, because even when they're standing outside the mall, there's really no zombies in sight, no zombies on the road whatsoever. So it could be these zombies are different from our stereotypical zombies where they have no memories of their past, because these could have memories of their past and actually go back to being inside buildings, or they have an instinct to be in buildings during certain periods, or buildings are more favorable for food, or they actually like to group up. So that's an interesting point. Then, well, I like Taromaru. Hopefully they don't kill off any of the girls or Taromaru. And with this, next episode marks the time that Mikun's gonna be actually getting adjusted, because they got her out of the mall, they're gonna adjust her, she's gonna get adjusted, and to see her actually acknowledge that Yuki's delusional as shit, have to play along, have to live in the school, and maybe more. She might even encounter her friend in the future, dead or alive. This is really high in my top 5 so far of this season. I'll probably make a video on that sooner or later. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more reviews, reactions, vlogs, talks, the usual. I like this episode a lot. It had a lot to talk about. Be sure to follow links down in the description, and have a good day. This is Auto X Nation here, my lovely community citizens and civilians. If you're new to the nation, welcome. Read lots of manga, watch lots of anime. I'll see you guys in the next review.